Welcome back, everyone. Dirch here, and it's time to go over the non-guns gear, the rep kit, the shield, the grenade, the enhancements of Jakobs before I move on to the next brand. And that's what I am doing in this video. It's kind of hard to go into combat and show this stuff off, or the dummies don't really help. So I'm just kind of standing over here where I'm covering the other stuff, and I'm just going to talk about it. I don't really know another way to do this. So, as I covered in my Allegiance video, one of the coolest things about this game is we have kind of all the slots can be filled up by a brand other than the class mods, which don't have a brand. So, you can go full any brand you want. So, here we got the rep kit, the grenade, the enhancement, and the armor, or the shield. In Jakobs' case, armor shields. Let's just start and go around in order. So I'm going to start with the rep kit. So as we look at the rep kit, they have one, and it is the large defibrillator. The special effect on this one is if your health goes below 20%, there's a 50% chance to replenish a charge, so you can hit it again. Not a fan of this, to be honest. It's cool. It makes sense. It's kind of Jakobs-y as far as a rep kit can go. But yeah, there's plenty of rep kits with multiple charges. There's so many ways to heal and get shields and overcharge. I don't see a lot of people using this. Tell me in the comments, obviously, if I'm wrong. I wish it looked a little more Jakobs too. You just can't really tell it's Jakobs. I've had some of the Jakobs metal embossing or something on it maybe. I don't see a really way to make this that great either. I think this is just going to be kind of a lame prep kit. Unless they up the chance. But then you're just kind of managing that. And it's almost it almost kind of turns into like a grog, or not a grog, but you're just waiting for your health to go to hit it and you're managing something else. There are, like all things, you can get a bunch of different effects on these rep kits. So this one heals nearby allies. I have one here with elemental affinity, the enrage, the nova, power cycle on this, which, I'm not going to have that. Instead of healing, you get an overcharge. So you can kind of hit all the different special effects. If I had a Jakobs rep kit of my dreams, I don't know what that would do. It's kind of a hard thing. Jakobs, if anything, it'd either make you more tanky so you can take more hits, or it would be a glass cannon thing that just increase your critical hit damage. Something more in line with Jakobs. But there's not a lot of Jakobs stuff with healing, so it's kind of hard to think what would be the best version of this. But I think it's one of the weaker rep kits in the game, because there's a lot of them that do cool impacts. Now, this one, I just have a regular Jakobs one I've had on, which gives me the amp on your next shot and the splash damage. Those are two cool effects. So honestly, I'd rather just put on a purple one over these, because I can kind of get just a couple of effects I like, and this is perfect. A lot of my guns on Harlow have splash damage, so I get increased damage from that, and I can hit the amp for that one big hit with your spread launcher or whatnot. So yeah, I kind of prefer this to their legendary ones, which is a bit sad. So I wish the effect on it had a bigger impact, and it'd be cool if they had one offensive and one defensive one. So if you don't need more offense, you can go for the defensive one. If you need some, you can go for that. I think that would just be more in tune with Jakobs. So, we already have the crit knife to give us better chance to critical hit, but getting some extra a critical hit amp instead of a regular amp, that would be cool. On the grenades, we have two different grenades, and I don't really like these either. They did awesome on the Jakobs guns, but I think we missed it on the legendaries. So this one, the juggler, you catch the rebound to refund one grenade charge. And then you can get some different effects with this one. So it's got the suppressor, so damage dealt by the target is reduced. Lethal grenade. Oh wait, these are the exact same. I wonder if it's locked. But yeah, maybe this one I can show you guys. When I first got this grenade, I tried it, and like, you spent more time, so that time it worked. But when you're in combat, it seemed to bounce all over the place, and you're moving and enemies are moving. So like, ideally, you just keep throwing this at enemies and kill them, but it just, I don't know. In practice, it doesn't work very well, and these knives felt really powerful, leveling up. But once I kind of got to end game, they don't scale as well, and you're better off just shooting guns. And that's why, like, the crit knife is so powerful. The crit knife enables your guns to do more. This just doesn't do enough damage to make it worth a while to like play catch with the thing. You keep throwing at enemies, you just end up dying trying to catch the thing, where you're better off just, this is behind me, I couldn't get to it. You're better off just shooting enemies. The gimmick is not that great. If it did a lot of damage, maybe, but the damage just isn't enough, and it just makes combat weird, and you're not chasing the right things, and you're just better off shooting enemies. So it's not that cool. And the suppressor, we're not really worried about enemies dealing damage to us. We're worried about doing enough damage to enemies. So yeah, it's just not the best. And next we have the ninja, the kunai, the show kunai. And I think all of these I have are exactly the same. So I think this one is locked as well. Oh no, there are different damages. So there are different parts with this, but none of them I got have any different effects. So this one, you get a ton of charges, which is cool, but the effect isn't that great again. Let's see. Oh no, I can't do that trick. So I'll just let these slowly recharge. So this one gets 10% movement speed for a short duration with each consecutive hit from 7 stacks. So you can get 70% movement speed. That's at least cool, but you got to throw 7 of them at an enemy to get this, and there's so much movement tech in this game. I just don't see this being like a big thing. So it's like, okay, now I can run faster. Movement tech is always good, but I don't want to sit here and like keep chucking grenades to do that. If you're really like a movement speed whore, and I know some of you are, you might like this grenade. The 7 charges is cool, and you can just kind of, instead of getting like all 7 at once, if you have a bunch of other speed stuff, you can kind of like always maintain that 10% or 20%. But I just think there's enough movement speed in this game where I don't need it from micromanaging grenade throwing. And it's easy to miss. So neither one of these kind of do it for me, and it's weird because just the regular purple crit knife is so dope, but not only the crit knife, the regular purple one, so I think I don't have the crit on me. I have that on my other character. But you'd have the damage amp payload, which increases the damage against enemies by 15%. So, like on Harlow, because she can make everything crit anyways. So, let's see, 6620. Actually, I have other skills on. So I'm going to shoot him once, 3143, 32. So I don't think it stacks, but at least it's a little extra damage. And when you got like bleeds and impact grenades, it's just more damage. So the purple ones both add utility, and the legendary one adds utility, but it's a utility that I don't know if it's the greatest thing. And the other one is just annoying to use. Yeah, so once again, for Jakobs, purple gear is outdoing the legendary gear. Yeah, and I don't know if there's really a way to fix these. I mean, the juggler, you could make the juggler cool if like the damage is really impactful, and this is like more like the fastball, where it's like super powerful single target damage, but the 2850 is not that. It's basically got the same damage as this. So if this is a one charge that you can catch and rethrow and you want us to go catch it, this needs like a fastball buff. This needs to be able to like one shot most enemies to make it cool and worthwhile. But just that regular damage, it's not enough. And then this, you don't really need to boost the damage. If you want it for the movement speed, get this for the movement speed. And you probably have ways to like cool down your ordnance and you can just keep zooming around. But like I said, there's so much movement tech in this game. So hopefully they bring us a new Jakobs knife that kind of just goes along more with the crit knife. And maybe it's not crit, doesn't turn everything into a crit and it's broken. But maybe it's more along like the amp payload, but more powerful, that kind of boosts us up. Or something along those lines that like just helps boost our damage, and it's a utility thing. But I would like to see like kind of a longbow version of it, or maybe one that just like has a bleed built into it. I mean, as a throwing knife, for God's sake, like give us one that applies bleeds to enemies. We already have bleed in the game. I think that would be cool. I think it would make sense. You are stabbing them with a knife, so that could be interesting as well. There's different ways to make these interesting, but I just don't think we nailed it with these. And like I said, turn this into a fastball, cool. This you can leave alone. It's a niche thing that some people might use for certain things. But yeah, I'm just not in love with it. Short duration is not 10 seconds. I was thinking it's 10 seconds, but it's 10% movement speed. So I don't know how long it lasts. But yeah, maybe that would be a thing, is make that duration a little bit longer than short so you can like keep moving with it. And kind of use it to speed up long runs or something to go farming. All right, the next one's a little bit better. These are at least interesting and on point. So we have two Jakobs shields. We have the oak aged cask and the onion. I really like the onion. Oh, wait, this is the one? No, never mind. I like the cask, not the onion. Switched them up. I don't have the best version of the cask. That would be a turtle shield version, because you can just get it huge. So what this does, it's an armor shield, but it only has one segment. And the cool thing about a single segment is when enemies drop a booster, you get 100% recharge. So if you can get one of these shields, and you can see that recharge is pretty slow, but as you kill enemies, maybe I can go kill some wolves and get some... of course, there's a big guy over there. See if they can drop these. Ooh. Oh, I should not have this gun on. Alright, so now I've got my full shield because of my tech on me. But when you get these segments, so... I froze myself. I thought there was a segment on the ground. Did I pick it up before I dazed myself? That is funny. Let's see if I can lose my shield. So here you can see you get my whole chunk back because this is a armor shield, and that's how they work. When enemies will drop segments, you pick it up and you get your shield back. So with this, like if you get a turtle shield version of it, you can get a massive shield on it, like 30k plus. And if you use skills to boost it up, you can get these shields to be huge, and then you just pick up a segment and boom, you have a ton of durability on your shield. So it's a cool way to play with it. And like I said, the best one I think is the turtle shield version. You just get a massive shield and you just keep picking up the segments to get it boosted up. So it's just super tanky, and that kind of goes with the Jakobs thing. I like the fact that the ones with Jakobs are armor, not energy, because that fits in with the theme of Jakobs. I guess the look is just whatever. But yeah, it makes sense. It works, and you can definitely like utilize this to do cool things. And then we have the onion, which is pretty good too. It's not as I don't like it as much. You can see I have a bunch of different versions here. We have one, the missile swarm. 10% damage dealt, scaling with broken armor segments. That's actually a pretty cool version. Heavy plating gives us damage reduction. So you can see they can drop with a bunch of different parts, but the onion special effect is when you break, you get damage immunity for 2 seconds. And with 4 of them, you're going to break them more often, but I just don't know if 2 seconds is great, and I don't really see a lot of people using this. I like it thematically. I think it fits in with Jakobs. But I just don't know. I just don't know if this is like a shield that a lot of people are using. Maybe if that damage immunity was a little bit longer, giving you time to heal and everything, but it just doesn't seem to be too big and or too long, and 2 seconds is just so short. Will it save you in some cases? Yeah, probably, but is it gonna like really define a build and be like that perfect shield for the build? If I'm going with one of these, it's probably the onion, and I'm gonna boost it the hell up and make sure I'm just getting those armor segments and be super tanky that way. So if I want tanky shield, I think I'm going onion instead of, oak aged cast over the onion. I keep confusing those two for some reason. And it's just the double O's. Yeah, but I hope we get a Rough Rider shield out of Jakobs again. I mean, that's just classic. I don't know how many characters would really take advantage of the Rough Rider in this game. Like Borderlands 2 had so many synergies with the Rough Rider. But yeah, I would like to see the Rough Rider back as a Jakobs shield, and maybe it's an armor shield without any armor. And it's just massive health boost, and we'll, see how that could work. But yeah, those are the 2 shields. And again, none of them are fantastic, but they're cool. They're interesting. They're at least on theme. So I like them better than the rep kit and the grenade. And then lastly, the enhancements. So Jakobs enhancements have 4 different abilities, and with your legendary ones, you can get 2. So, the purple, you get 1, and you get 3 independent bonuses, and with legendaries, you can get 2. So, Jakobs has a lot of cool impacts on these. So you have the bounce pass, which is awesome. So if it has Jacob licensed parts, increase the number of possible ricochets by 1. That's dope. More you can ricochet, especially like this game has a lot of dense mobs. So anything you can do to like speed up killing enemies and make those mobs faster is a great thing. And the bounce pass is really awesome for that. And then Leaper, guns with Jacob parts, licensed parts, gain a 40% ricochet non-critical hits. So those 2 combined are really cool. Ideally, this isn't the best one for this build, but that's really great for builds that you aren't critting as much. Harlow just crits everything. And then you have Piercer, and this one is pretty cool. Guns with Jacob's license parts have a 20% chance to grant a critical hit. So your non-crits can still crit. Again, this is not the best for Harlow. So if like Vex does not have Harlow skills to make things crit, so like Piercer and Leaper are really nice on Vex because you're just going to get more critical hits and get more ricochets and more crits and more bleeds, and those work well. And then you have Sequencer, which is really nice. Guns of Jacob Licensed Parts grant consecutive critical hits, a stacking 5% bonus damage for a maximum of 8 stacks, so 40% bonus. Especially on like bosses and stuff. Again, like Vex loves that to like stack up her bleed. The more damage she does, the more her bleeds do. And yeah, this can be really nice. So ideally my best one, and I think I don't have that. I don't know if I've found the golden one yet, but I found one at a lower level and I got rid of it. I should have kept it because it doesn't matter the level. But yeah, Bounce Pass plus Sequencer, especially on Harlow, is awesome because you just get more ricochets. Those ricochets are probably going to crit because enemies are entangled and they're auto crit. And then you get that stacking and you have more damage and it's sweet. So yeah, those are the Jakobs. I think those enhancements are like perfect for Jakobs. I think this game in general nailed enhancements. They're really cool. And so far the effects I've seen for these brands mostly are really strong and really good. So I think they nailed the enhancements on Jakobs. I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't tweak it. I think they're all powerful. I think the numbers are pretty good. I don't think they need buffs. I don't think they need nerfs. In general, they just kind of killed it. And yeah, and the 4 combinations, like they can all work well together. Again, like Harlow auto crits a lot of things, so you don't necessarily need the Piercer, and Leaper with Harlow, she prefers the other 2, but they don't hurt because when your action skill goes down, you still have it and so much. But like all the characters really like these and they all work really well. Like I said, all 4 of them are great on Vex. So I'm not that worried about min-maxing these. But yeah, I do want to find the one with Bounce Pass and Sequencer with good secondaries, and that would be dope. So that's all the Jakobs non-red text gear that's in the game right now before DLCs, and it's a mixed bag. So shields are okay, not great. Enhancements, A+, S tier. Especially with like so many guns that you can get Jakobs parts on that aren't Jakobs. Like these things just crank it up. But yeah, I hopefully we get more rep kits and grenades in the DLCs, and hopefully they maybe boost them as well. I mean, an easy one for a rep kit, now that I've kind of gone through these and talked about it, is also just give damage reduction, I think that would be cool. Or even since all Jacob shields are armor, maybe there's one that can kind of be like the super shield effect. Well, not the super shield effect. Not the fireworks. What was I thinking? Well, yeah, kind of like this, where energy shields fill as it grants an overshield, but do something for the armor shields. So it'd be cool if they could do something like this that focused on armor and not energy. Maybe not the same, but similar, since Jakobs is all armors. So just do something that, boost your armor up or gives you a segment, or, every time you use the rep kit, you get 1 segment of a shield. And on most armor shields, that wouldn't be broken, but use that with Oak Aged Cask. And like every time you do this, you get like full shield and health regen or something. That could be interesting. Anyways, let me know what you guys think of the non-gun red text gear for Jakobs. Where would you kind of rank it amongst the other ones? I think most of it's pretty weak outside the enhancements compared to some of the other gear. They don't have the best shields. They don't have the best rep kits or legendary grenades, but their purple stuff is really good. So could they use better versions of that purple stuff? I know Crit Knife already got nerfed, so doing a better Crit Knife as a legendary seems insane. But yeah, I think we could do some fun stuff. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.